and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime, and I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is a special supplement episode where I'm going to go over some of the tips and some of the playing techniques and strategies for playing this game, Langrisser Mobile, okay? So I've, quickly, because of a little bit of history, I quickly sort of picked up this game. Since I'm not really playing Pokemon Go, I'm sort of in the retirement mode of that game, and I was looking for a new game to play. And of course, Langrisser has been one of my favorite RPG games, and so I decided to pick this up and start playing it. And of course, like most people, it's not exactly the same kind of game, Langrisser 1, Langrisser 2, or, for that matter, Langrisser 5, those type of games. But it has some similar techniques, it looks like the story can go in different ways, of course, different characters you can play with. There's a bit of strategy, although the units and that kind of stuff isn't quite the same, but that's all right. And in many aspects, it also has a Pokemon Go feel to it because you're trying to collect them all. They made it into a character collecting game, okay, where you unlock characters or you try to get shards and stuff to get characters, okay. So in many ways, it plays very well. So, and of course, the big concern that a lot of people have is, oh my God, this is a pay game. They're just trying to make you pay money in order to play the game, or you gotta pay money in order to get stuff. No, it isn't. If you're one of these people that are like Pokemon Go, you got patience, and you're willing to, you might not be able to find that Dragonite, when you first played Pokemon Go, but if you're willing to stick it out, wait and wait for your chance to get it, you'll eventually get one. And you'll eventually find one that's good enough for you to level up and put your resources towards. And that's the same thing with this game. I mean, I know if you've played Langrisser before, you've got a favorite character, there's a particular series that you like, so you want to collect all the characters from that particular series. Okay. If you play it that way, sure, you might have to spend a little bit of money, or else you might not be able to get that enjoyment, or you might be kind of wasting a lot of time grinding and wasting resources on guys that you weren't really happy with using, okay? So I get that, okay? So, maybe it's just easier to, just sort of delete that account and just sort of start again, and maybe you get a better roll the next time, who knows? But, in this episode, I just want to go over some of the basics, and then some of the strategies of, playing the game, and how to maybe make better use of your time and strategy when you play the game, okay? So, let's begin. Alright, so like Langrisser, you basically have your hero, okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is they've changed this part of Langrisser because it's supposed to represent Langrisser, like all the various different types of Langrisser. So they got characters from many of the Langrisser all across this line. So they were obviously stuck with the idea of, well, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna put these in the game? So since there's so many characters, both on the light side and from the dark side, let's just throw them all together and make it a big, huge character collecting game. So, i.e., like Pokemon Go. And so when you begin the game, you begin with a bunch of schlubs, which are like nobodies. And with that, you meet and you can get these Langrisser characters into your group. You randomly get them. And we hope that you get the ones that you want to play, because obviously there are some characters that people think are really cool, like Leon, for example. And of course a lot of people want to get the main characters. So things like they want to get Layden, they want to get Elwyn, okay, for example, okay, so I get it, sure, all right. So if you don't get those, don't cry and whine and bitch and that oh no, I'm gonna have to pay to get these guys or whatever. No, just relax, you'll get them. Just keep playing, you'll get them, okay. It's just like like Magic the Gathering. Just because your friend has got a Dragonite and you didn't, keep working at it, you'll get it eventually. Now me, my favorite Langrisser is 1 and 2. So I mean, and again, I mostly focus on the female characters. So obviously, I'm looking for things like Chris, Norm, Jessica, obviously Liana. And later on, of course, things like Sophia. Those are probably. And again, you notice that all the ones I've virtually listed are all the magic users too, right? So the priest, the magic users type things. Of course, so when playing the game, I was trying to hope to get those guys and level up. And I was fortunate that, because I have a wide number of choices, like I'm not just stuck, okay, I only want to play with Leon and whatever, then that may, limit your enjoyment of this game. So if you have a broad generation of characters and, sort of keep an open mind about how to use these guys and how to, use your resources, you can still, get a lot out of this game. So I was lucky that, that several things clicked into place for me and it worked really well. Okay. So the first thing you need to do in this game is you have to look at what your hero has and how to make the hero better. Okay. And there's several things. Okay. So the stock character can get you pretty far in the game. So if you just take the character the way it is and you just basically, run it through the game as far as it can go by itself, you can get pretty far, but you'll hit this, shall we say, a plateau. I won't call it a paywall because you don't have to pay to get past it. It's just you'll get to a point where your raw character, even though you leveled it up, is not strong enough, or it does not have enough power. The soldiers don't have enough power. They don't have enough defense. They don't have enough attack to start defeating the monsters and that kind of stuff as easily as they did earlier on. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they did this very, very intentionally. This plateau or this level happens around chapter 16 in the story, roughly when you were about level 25 to about 27, maybe to level 28. Okay, around that point, the monsters become really hard. The quests become really hard. You've got to spend some time. Leveling up stuff and making things more magical, okay? So how do you do that, okay? Obviously, one of the things you can do is you can boost up the level of the characters, okay? The second thing you can do is you can improve their skills, add some skills, change their class, that kind of idea. The third thing you can do is improve their soldiers that they have, okay? The fourth one is improve the equipment that they have. Every person carries 4 different types of equipment. You can improve the level of the equipment, the protection of the equipment, okay? And the fifth thing you can do is you can improve the bonds or the relationship of the characters, okay? So I'm going to go over each one of these separately and sort of the things that you can kind of keep your mind on to do that. Now, when you're trying to get all these things, people wonder, well, where do you get them from? How do you, get all this stuff? So one of the first things you need to do in this game is this game gives you a lot of free stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff that the icons and everything all over the screen. And, how do you keep track of it all? Well, don't worry, because as you play the game, they will open up and give you different icons and to explain how you get into them and what you use them for. Okay? Once they've done that, they want you to go back and check it, maybe every day, multiple times a day, okay? And because you'll notice that in the beginning of the game, first couple levels, they give you lots and lots of free stuff, okay? They're giving you, rewards and, little things like little quests to do in order for you to maximize, all the gold and maximize your shards and that kind of stuff, and experience to give you a better push into the game. Okay, they even have one of the quests called the daily grind, and under the daily grind, it gives you a list of things that you need to do in order to get a daily grind. And if you do all the items in this daily grind, they give you even more rewards for actually completing the daily grind. So try to get that done. And try to do those every day. It's like, in Pokemon Go, right? Every week you want to try to make sure you spin a Pokestop. You want to, catch a Pokemon every day, even if it's just a random Pokemon every day. Then that way you can build up, a a series of catches. So after 7 days, catching a Pokemon every day, you get a bonus. Same thing with spinning a Pokestop every day, and after 7 days, you get a bonus. So the same thing with this. If you do all these multiple things during a day, you'll give you a bonus. Okay, so try to get that every day, and then basically, my sort of rule of thumb is sort of start, at a point on the screen, and all around the edges of the screen are all the little, messages, the email, and all those different little quests and missions and that kind of stuff. Yeah, just slowly click through one of those, clockwise or counterclockwise order, and make sure that you get all the things, and make sure you collect all the gifts from the mail, and collect all your missions, and make sure you do all the little things to help boost up your character. Okay, so the first, so let's go through the list of things that you can do to make your character better. Okay, and as I said, the sooner you get to it, the better you're off, because you don't want to kind of leave it all to the end, and then you kind of hit that wall at level 16, and then you kind of go, well, geez, I gotta really start leveling up your character. Or if you're one of these kind of guys, who likes to wait for that, wait for that perfect guy, or you wait for that, for example, you like to play with Leon, and you haven't got Leon, but if you wait long enough and save all your resources until you get Leon, and then you just pour everything into him, you can do that too. Okay, all right. Who knows? It might work out really well for you. Okay, so there's two ways to play. Just know how you plan to do it, and that will affect how you your strategy for the game. Okay. So first thing you do is, of course, you want to build up the level of your characters. Okay. Now there's two different type of level systems. There's one level, which is the level of your entire party. That's based off the experience points of the party. And each individual character has its own level. It can only be as high as the party level. So if your party level is up to level 27, then that means you can only raise your characters up to level 27/28. So you can do that. Now, how do you do that? Well, they give you these potion. Well, I mean, obviously you can do things on the map, and you can do things that they give you experience points. But one of the fastest way to gain experience points is with these experience potions. Okay, and there's different levels of potions, which will give you different number of experience points, and that's very important. Now, that's one distinction I'm going to make about this type of language as opposed to the previous versions. Now, so in the previous versions, you had to make sure that your character, for example, Chris, had to do all the damage and all the things. They got experience for doing kills. Okay, and so that's why a lot of times you had to spread the damage out. You had to make sure you killed all the other soldiers and that kind of stuff. In order to make sure that certain characters got leveled up, okay? Things like Chris and Jessica were really, really hard to level up in the first Langrisser because, they didn't have a lot of attack strength and that kind of stuff. Chris, obviously, she had a lot of healing spells at the beginning, so it was really hard for her to level up, to get to the larger spells like Meteor and that kind of stuff, okay? But in this game, they got rid of that. They just made it so that everybody in the party makes exactly the same experience points. Even though if they did no kills, even though if they got killed, they don't get any, they all get even experience points spread amongst them, okay? So obviously if you use certain characters more often, they get more experience points in the party as opposed to the ones who don't get used. But that's okay, because they get bottles of these experience potions, and then you can give those to them, and you can level them up, okay? So that's the quickest way on how to level up stuff. Again, if you are one of these type of players that likes to only play with certain characters, okay, you might want to save some of these up, at least some of the more expensive ones up anyway, the ones that really give you huge boosts of experience points. Save those up for those guys so that as soon as you get them, then you can quickly level up back up and basically make yourself up to the same level as everyone else in the party, okay? So that's number one. Number two, the second way you can improve your character is in what they've referred to as the skills. What kind of abilities do your characters have? Now, unlike the regular Langrisser, you would say that, for example, Layden and Elwyn are, because they're both the main characters, they're both sort of fighter types, they're both heroes, they're both destined to be the king, whatever. You'd think that they're relatively exactly the same sort of, spells and that kind of stuff. Yes and no. See, one nice thing about this game is that every character has unique abilities, okay? Certain characters do slightly different things, even though their role in the game is exactly the same. So, for example, Chris and Liana are both the priest healers in the game. Okay, there's some of their spells are kind of the same, like heal, for example, but their actual abilities are a little different. Okay, because Liana has the ability to heal around her naturally, where Chris has a different ability for improving magic driven defense and that kind of stuff. So they're a little different, so which makes it useful in different applications when you're trying to class them. So don't think that they're because they're both healers, they're exactly the same. No, they have slightly different functions, and that plays a different role a little bit later on. Okay, you might want to capitalize on some things like that. So that's why part of the reason why you want to collect a variety of different characters, even some of the ones that you may not exactly like, because they have a particular function which is very useful in combat. Okay, so how do you improve these skills? Okay, you need what they refer to as these scrolls, and you need these ribbons. Okay, now some of these things that you can buy on the black market. So always check the black market, because you'll see a timer on the black market that says that it will refresh in a certain amount of time. So if you go to the black market and you buy a bunch of stuff and it says sold out, it'll say how long it'll take to refresh it. Okay, and of course you can pay Trinity crystals to refresh it, but I wouldn't do that, because Trinity crystals you're going to basically use all those to summon your characters, okay, especially at the beginning of the game, right? So you want to save all those for just buying, Trinity cards to basically summon your guys. Okay, so what you do is this is what I was telling you, that what they want to do, what they want you to do in the game is to keep constantly checking the app every, say, 4 hours, because they're going to put new stuff into the black market. Now, they've got it set up so that you can have the game send you a notification on your cell phone. So they go, bing, new items in the black market, check it out. So then you can go there, quickly look at the black market. Oh yeah, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. And you can buy all those stuff and then, close it up and then go up. So that's why, you don't grind it. If you're one that likes to sit there for like 2-3 hours just grinding away, fine, go do that, okay? But, strategically speaking, it's best to just, check it in the morning, check it at noon, check it at 4 when you're leaving work, and then maybe check it at night before you go to sleep. Okay? That way you have basically 4 chances to get new stuff, at the black market. And that might be a good way to get some of the scrolls that you need to improve your skills, level up, or change your class. Okay? So that's another good way to, boost up the strength of your character. Okay. Now, the third way you can boost up your character is improve the soldier types. Okay. Now, the soldiers, okay, in the original Langrisser, they basically came in stock guys. Okay, you had either, you had your infantry, you had your standard, you had archers, and you had like cavalry. Okay, so basically, and even in the game, they actually teach you, that, the cavalry is good against the infantry, and the archers are good against the cavalry, things like that. So, and they now also have all these other monster types and all these flying types and that kind of stuff. So there's lots of different soldiers that you get, but a lot of them are locked. Okay, when you first start the game. So the idea is you need to get stuff to unlock it, and you need stuff to basically power them up. Okay. Because they now have different star levels, okay? So you can increase as you power them up, they give you more and more attack strength, more and more, intelligence or defense or whatever, um, uh, for them. So how do you do that? Well, in the game, they will introduce what they refer to as the Aniki Gym. Again, one of those my favorite parts. I'll probably have to make a special episode on the inside joke about the Anikis, but. And it's also, the name of my website, which I refer to as the Aniki Online. Okay, check it out, www.anikionline.com. All right, so in order to get basically more power, more things for your soldiers, you need to go to the Aniki gym and basically work out. As they say, they want you to basically improve with sweat and muscle. Okay, that was the big saying for the Anikis. Okay, so just go over there, hit the icon for the Aniki gym, and basically you can use up your stamina, which is again your food, I guess if you will, to basically go to the gym and then practice up. Get the necessary booklets and the training for all your different classes and all your different things to basically power them up. And basically, also at the same time powering them up, you also unlock different ones. For example, you start with regular cavalry. If you do lots of cavalry training and that kind of stuff, you can then unlock and get elite cavalry, and then of course you do more training on the elite cavalry, and then you can then make heavy cavalry. Okay, so even more defense, more attack strength, and that kind of stuff. So again, lots of visits to the Aniki gym. Again, one of the things that you can do that this game allows you to do is you can hit auto. Okay, which basically means it auto grinds the level for you when you play the game. So basically, you can select. Well, okay, I'll take Elwin, Layden, I'll take Chris, and I'll take Narv, I'll take Jessica. Those are the 5 guys I want to go. Put them into this, into the Aniki gym, and then go auto, and then it'll automatically just use AI to basically play the level for you, beat up the Aniki, and then basically you can collect up the treasure chest after it's done. Okay, so it's as you refer to as it's not memory intensive or time intensive grinding, but it'll do it for you. So do it once in a while, whatever. Okay, especially if you're sitting around doing nothing anyway. Do that. Okay. The fourth way, and probably the most complicated thing to do, is to enhance your weapons, to make your weapons better. Okay, so they built this large thing that allows you to basically improve your weapons. Okay, now there's sort of 2 ways to improve the weapons. Okay, or a couple ways to improve the weapons. The first way you can do it is you can improve the level of the weapon. So you can basically level up what level the weapon is. Okay, the higher the level, the more upgrades it does to the weapon, more attack, more defense, that kind of stuff, more magic resistance to the weapon. Okay, but you can only raise it up to level 10 before you have to put another star onto it to increase the star level, and then that allows you to increase to continue leveling up to level 20. And then, of course, when you hit the level 20, then you have to, put another star on it to increase the level again, so that you can level up to level 30. Okay. So first, let's just call let's just talk about making it stronger. Strengthening up the weapon. Okay. You can use different. You can use just your scrap weapons that you collect. Your doubles, your duplicates, and that kind of stuff. But they also have these what they call these crafting hammers. Okay, they're different ability crafting hammers. They will basically add experience points, if you will, to the weapon to make it stronger. Okay, and so you can throw away your crappy 1-star daggers and all that kind of stuff. And cloaks and that kind of stuff, and add strength to your better magical weapons, and boost up its levels to get to level 10. Now, once you get to level 10, you need to improve or increase the star level. Okay, because if you don't increase the star level, you're stuck at level 10. You can't go to level 20. Okay, so you need to collect a rune to then improve the star level. Okay, a lot of times you also need another one of that particular item. So, for example, if I have a magical rod, okay, I can raise the magical rod or strengthen the magical rod to level 10. But if I want to go to 11, I need another magical rod and some runes to basically add another star to it, and that will make it into I'll give you the ability to raise it to level 20, and then I can then power it up again. And then when I get to level 20, I'll need another item maybe, or some other things to basically more runes to basically level it up to level 30. Okay, but each time you do leveling up, you get a little more stuff with your thing, so that's why you want to power it up. Again, a lot of these things like the runes and that kind of stuff, and the scrolls and that kind of stuff, you all get from the time rift. So if you're falling behind, or have the ability to unlock that part of the level, go to the time rift to get elements out of that, and basically get your things with that. One of the things that's useful in the time rift is that once you've completed a level in the time rift and you want to get those items again, they have an option called sweep. Okay, it's kind of like quickly go and do the level again and just give me the treasure. Okay, just make it really quick. Just give me the treasure. So you hit the sweep button, and it'll re-roll it and basically give you some of the treasure as if you completed the level. And so if you're looking for a specific type of rune, a specific type of scroll, you can hit the time sweep button multiple times, and you can get some. You can do any one level 10 times in a day. Each time you do it, you lose 10 pieces of bread or whatever, or stamina. Okay, so you might run out of bread really quickly, so you might have to change it and use a Trinity Star. So be careful how you use that, because you don't want to use up too many of your Trinity crystals. Farming those things, because you want to try to farm the one you need, but not too much. Okay. The last way, or the third way that you can add to your item, and it's not readily explained how this works, so you got to listen a little more carefully how this sort of works. Okay. The third way that you can improve the item is to enchant it. Okay. Now you can get these scrolls which have an ability. So, for example, let's say ice, okay, or the tree of life, okay. You can use this scroll to cast onto any magic item, okay, and you got 4 slots, in your character, okay, that you can have an item, so basically your weapon, your armor, or your body thing, you have an item that you can carry, as well as a personal thing like a hat or something like that. Okay, headgear or something like that, a helmet. Okay, so those are 4 things. You can enchant any of these 4 items or 4 locations with your scroll. Okay, now it'll say 2+ you get a bonus thing, and 4+ you get another bonus thing. So how it works is that the scroll itself enchants the item with, let's say, ice ability, okay? And this ice ability, if you just use one item, will improve some stats. Okay, maybe your attack, maybe your defense. It'll give you maybe +10 to damage, pluses to your magic defense, whatever. Okay, it'll give you one sort of ability, sort of thing, okay, or one type of ability for this item. Okay. What it means is that if you have 2+ things, so that means out of the 4 things, if you can enchant 2 of the items, okay, with ice ability, then you get another bonus. Okay, so in addition to having ice bonus for the one item, and a second scroll can give you ice ability for your second item, but because you've done 2 together, you now get a bonus extra thing that happens. Okay. So maybe more, +2 to, +10% for defense, So not only you get one item, one bonus here, and a bonus for having both of them together, that's one thing there, okay? So that's one thing. And then when they say 4 items, okay? So with the other two, if you also enchant this item, the third item and the fourth item with ice ability, so all 4 of your things that you wear are all magically enhanced with ice, then you get another bonus thing for having all 4 things ice ability. Okay, so it's not really easily written and explained that way, but that's what I found out, and that's how best to use the scroll ability. So again, what you want to do is you want to try to save those scrolls so that they you want to use them in pairs, because obviously to have one thing enhanced with the scroll is okay. I mean, it does have some ability, but really to make use of your items, you want to pair them up so that you want to cast magical abilities on 2 items, so that at least each item has its own magical ability, plus you get the bonus for having both of the other. Okay, so that's important. Okay, the other thing that you might want to pay attention to is certain abilities work well with certain characters better than others. Okay, and I'll get into that a little later. Because certain abilities work better with the character's special abilities, and they'll double up together if you use them properly. Okay. So, but before I get that, I'm going to talk about the option number 5. Okay, which is bonds. Okay. They call it intimacy. Okay, so which is great because it's kind of a weird term, because I mean obviously you're playing mostly this game, or at least I am anyway, to get the female characters. So intimacy means one sort of thing, and when you give gifts and that kind of stuff, it seems to indicate that there's some sort of intimate relationship in it. But when you're talking about, but the intimacy also works with the other characters as well, and that's more like a friendship, a loyalty, a bond, as they refer to it. Okay, so I guess something got kind of lost in the Japanese to English translation there, but yeah. So basically, it's the morale level, the closeness between characters, and the bond between the characters. Okay, so you can increase that. There's different levels again. You increase that with, and there's a thing for they call the bonding realm, which basically allows you to level up and get items. Okay, now these items that you get, you give them as gifts to the characters, and they will level up the character. And then of course, as you level up the characters, they unlock certain memory things, and then as you do those memory things, they will also improve your bond, improve your level up, and things like that. Okay, so you do that. That will also give you bonuses to attack, strength, to defense, to all that kind of stuff. So now a lot of people say that, well, I'm only getting like a 1% increase in attack and 1% increase in defense. But the problem is that you realize there's like 5 different things that will give you, for example, bonuses to your character. And there's also each individual soldier will give you things, and each individual magic item gives you things. So 1% here, 2% here, 1% here, 1% here, 1%. It starts really adding up. So all of a sudden, you do base damage, and then all of a sudden, all your percentages start kicking in. You can get 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100% more damage out of your character just because you've added and put all these things together. Now, I've done things like joined in with joint battles, okay? And I've seen characters that are, only like 5 more, 5, maybe 10 more levels higher than I am. But they're doing like, they've got like guys like Sherry going in, producing 20,000 points of damage with a lightning bolt, okay? They're just doing like retardedly 10 times more damage than I am. But they're only, only like 10 levels higher than me. But obviously, they've really got their percentages and all the things and all their bonuses all adding up together to help them do damage. Okay, so again, it's really important at this time that you power up your characters and get these things going. And as I said, I did it late. So I'm learning it the hard way, I guess you'd say, that you can play the game pretty calmly up to chapter 16 and level 27. I hit that, and then I realized I couldn't do anything. So then now I'm basically spending the next bunch of levels, powering up my character. Okay, so since day 9, okay, when I hit chapter 16, I stopped at chapter 16. I have not done chapter 17 yet. Okay, I went from level 27 and now I'm up to level 32. But in that time, I've not progressed on with the story. I have just spent all this time leveling up my characters and building up my soldiers and building up my magic items. I'm lining up all my scrolls and trying to get all those things all lined up. So I'm doing it kind of when I'm at the plateau, kind of late in the game. But again, if you can begin that earlier on in the game, I think you'll see the results much easier. Okay. So the last point I want to get into because I don't want to make the video, making this video pretty long. The last point So the last point I want to get into is we talked about how these magic items work together and to help to improve the characters. So obviously certain scrolls work really well with certain characters. Okay, it all has to do with the type of character class that the characters are. Okay, so we can kind of summarize it in a couple character types. Okay. Now, we can kind of classify these characters in a couple different types. Okay, so there's a type of characters, usually the main characters. We call them tanks. I guess because they're kind of like a tank. I guess they're heavily armored. They do a lot of damage. Okay, but they sit there and they take it. Okay, you put them into combat. They take the damage. They deal out the damage. That's why you would call them tanks. Okay, so characters like Layden, Freya, Elwyn. Okay, what sort of scrolls do you want to put onto those guys? Okay, well, depending on their ability, the ones that you want to do are hard rock and ice. Okay, those are you can do whichever ones you want or which ones you have. Okay. Because you can always re-enchant them afterwards. Okay, but it's a waste. But you can re-enchant them, or you can pass the weapon off to somebody else who can use it, and then re-enchant a new one with hard rock. And again, it's because it really helps their abilities and works really well for them. Okay, there are guys who do lots of damage. Okay. Those are the guys who do the ability to have a high chance of doing critical hits. They're really good for dishing out the damage. Okay, and these guys are things like Leon, Sherry. Okay, what you want to use for those is things like Rough Sea or Breeze. Okay, because again they add extra damage. They add extra movement, so because they a lot of those guys they'll fly dragons and that kind of stuff. To have an extra 2 more hexes of movement, really powerful for that. Okay, and of course again increases damage. So that's how you get those really high percentage rolls of damage. Okay, so so that really works out well for them. Okay, you have the last type or the last 2 types. Okay, which are healers and mages. Okay. Again, because of how I play the game or my favorite characters, things like Chris, Jessica, Liana, okay, Sophia, they're all magic users or clerics, okay, / priests, okay. So they're either going to heal, help you heal guys or help you deal damage, okay. So let's deal with the healers first, okay. Obviously the characters that concentrate on healing people, so. Liana, Sophia, Terrace, Chris, okay? The one that you want to get is Crystal, because Crystal helps enhance magic healing, okay? Now, again, as you can see, these different characters heal in different ways. For example, Liana has the aura around her, same thing with Tiara, okay? if you have crystal on them, then all those people that get healed around them get the bonus too, and if you cast healing spell, they also get the bonus. So it helps. The bonus compounds on the next bonus, and that's the idea why you want to use these things together to help make things more powerful. Okay. Likewise, the last classification is mages. So things like Lana, Jessica. Okay. What you want to do, and maybe even Chris. Okay, if you want to classify Chris as more as a mage rather than a healer. What will really help them is magic, obviously, because magic improves their magic damage and that kind of stuff like that. But the other one that's sort of useful for them is clock, okay? Because then that way they don't have to wait as long to wait for their spells to cool down. They can cast it more often, which is some people call spell spamming. So you just keep on, every turn cast a new spell, and then and basically. As one spell is cooling down, you can go to another spell and cast that spell, and then hopefully, come to a kind of a cycle where you never have to wait for a spell. Some kind of spell will be available for you to throw because between that and the cooldown time and that kind of stuff, you'll be able to get your spells back really quickly. Okay, so yeah, those are the scrolls that you want to do to help enhance those characters. Okay, so. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you can use some of these tips to, in your game. Again, this is the first of the video that I got for this particular thing, since I'm only up to, level 32 right now. I'll probably make another one for, how to use and how to get more out of the game in the later levels, because obviously, once you start getting the characters that you like, you no longer need to worry about so many Trinity crystals, because once I get all the characters that I like, then I don't really care about getting all the, let's say, the bad guys or the enemy guys. Like I can get them if I want to. Same thing with my soldiers. If I got all the soldiers I more or less want, the griffins, the dragons, and that kind of stuff, then yeah, okay, I guess if I'm really bored, I can unlock all the the other guys, like the harpies and the whatever. Great, it's just one of those things. If I want to get them, sure, whatever. That's it goes there. But again, different people play for a different reason, and you can set your own finishing point on this game. Okay, but definitely enjoy the journey while you play it. Okay, so. Write down below what your favorite characters are, how far you've gotten into the game, and what you think. Okay, so if you have any questions, by all means, leave it in the comments below. So what you want to do right now, while you're down there, click like and click subscribe. All right. So until next time, see you again.